I was like, this show is going to get picked up and it's going to run for 7 years. Now we only did 6, but I'm still counting on a reboot season, so then my prediction will have come true completely as I predicted it. But in that pilot script, the characters were so fleshed out, like all of them, and it didn't feel like sometimes you see a pilot and you're like, oh, there's a lot of exposition we're getting here. Like it's a lot of like, hello, neighbor of mine I've known for 20 years. And the thing that I think that Spitzer did so well was giving us that kind of exposition, but in a way that felt very organic. So by the end of that pilot, you may not know all the details, but you knew exactly what each one of those characters, what their kind of deal was. You knew who Glenn was, you know who Dina was, Jonah and Amy, Mateo, like it's all there. Right? Cheyenne, obviously, in her teen pregnancy storyline, like it's all there in that pilot. It's really a really well-written pilot.
And you just read it and said, this is it, and it's going to go 7 years?
Yeah.
And it's going to get picked up. Wow.
Yeah, and I also was like, no one can play this part but me. I was impossibly cocky, which is not typically my nature. I called my manager every day for like 3 weeks, being like, when's my Superstore audition? And he was like, they're not seeing anybody yet. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to keep calling you until I get it. And then I remember I had come up with a super fun night, but this casting director didn't know me. And so there's pre-reads and then there's producer sessions and then there's, screen tests, right? And typically if you've been on another series, you can kind of skip the pre-read. But this casting director was like, I don't know her. She needs to do a pre-read. And my team was like, oh gosh, is Lauren going to be offended? And I was like, I don't care. I want to play this part. I don't care. I'll audition 1,000,000 times. Like, Sure, put me in. And I'll never forget, I read the first scene with her and then she was like, she wouldn't even look me in the eyes. She was like, I'm so sorry that I made you do this. Do you want to come back and see the producers tomorrow? And I was like, yep, no problem. But it was pretty delicious to feel so vindicated.
Right. You're like, I don't care. I'll do it. Just give it to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have happily done it. I jumped through a lot of hoops. I auditioned a lot of times for that show.
Did you know you had it kind of in the bag from the beginning?
So there's a character that I created when I was at the Second City in Toronto who was very close to this character, just coincidentally. I was like, so when I read the script, I was like, I know her. I've played her for years. So I think for me, it was really, and this is really a testament if people want to talk about like manifestation kinds of thinking or whatever, but I really just believed it's not even that I believed, it's that I knew. I really knew the core of my being. I was like, no one else can play this part. This part is for me, and I'll just have to do whatever to get them all to realize what I know to be true. And they finally did.
Wow. Well, I mean, I know we're in the middle of a writer strike or maybe possibly, in a second, but what about, you mentioned a reboot. Like, I mean, can you ever see this show being rebooted? I know you're busy with music and lots of other things, a current show on ABC, but let's take all of this out of the mix.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, I saw I saw Nico, Nicole, Mark, Kaliko, Colton. I saw them all recently within the last few weeks, and I said to them, we started taking bets. It was about, when are we going to get the call? Well, how many more years do you think it's going to be before we get the call to do the reboot season? I think it's only a matter of time. And you know what? I'm going to say it, much like I said about that role. I'm just going to believe it to be true. I know it to be true. It will happen, and it'll be a joy. We'll have a great time.
Everyone will be back, I
think so. I think that for that show, I mean, it'll be, of course, logistically, scheduling-wise, an absolute nightmare, cluster. But I really do, I can't speak for anybody. But I really do think that there is a lot of all of us have a lot of goodwill towards that show and each other. And I feel like I could definitely see it happening.
Let's just put that out into
I'm putting it out there.
What was it like working with America Ferrera?
It was wonderful. She is such a legend. Like, she's done this for a very long time and she's very good. And she also directed a handful of episodes during our time as well. And she's a really great director. She knows what she wants. She knows how to talk to actors. Yeah, it was so fun. And the dynamic that Amy and Dina had, for me, was just so fun to play. There is nothing better than that. I loved a lot of the dynamics on that show, but that one especially I really liked. I always liked when I could make her break. There's bloopers you can find from the shoplifting episode where she and I are kind of playing good cop, bad cop. And I'll never forget Ruben Fleischer, who directed that episode and was one of the producers on the show. I'll never forget him bellowing like, Lauren in America, can you lower your volume, days. Like, it's like we had just gotten to this like upper ranges of like excitement and fun and all of the above. And it was just like we were causing complete chaos on set that day. But the bloopers are really funny from that scene because we were really vibrating on another frequency.
I need to watch those too.
Yes. Yeah, they're fun.
Do you have a favorite episode?
It's really hard to choose. I loved the ladies' lunch episode where I sang again. There's a karaoke scene.
See?
Again, it's all there. But I also, obviously, when asked this question, I say season 3, episode 20, gender reveal, because that's the episode I wrote. So I have to choose it as my favorite because otherwise I'd be a bad mother to my script baby.
That is very, very true.
Yes.
What is up with music? You mentioned you're writing more. Do you want to, write another song? Are you writing? Do we see an album coming?
Yeah, so I have another single coming within the next couple of weeks. We did a pop punk cover of Umbrella by Rihanna that is
really
absolutely so fun. I feel like it's going to be perfect to like go into the summer with. I'm super excited. And yeah, my goal is to, write an EP, have an EP come out. I don't want to say, but well, I got to set hard deadlines. Sometime in the fall, I hope that I can get it together to have a full EP ready to go.
A pop punk version of Rihanna's Umbrella? Sign me up.
It is honestly so fun. And I know I shouldn't be like braggadocious, but
please be braggadocious.
It's the only thing that I'm being braggadocious about is that I had the idea. What made the song what it is the musicians that I work with who are so incredibly talented. And one of my guitar players, Federico Navarro, plays this solo at the end of this song that is to die for. And it was just such an amazing experience to come in as someone who I consider myself to be very musical. I'm a musical person. I'm a good singer. But I always hesitated about like, I don't know if I call myself a musician, because then you see these real musicians who are incredibly gifted in ways that you aren't. And listen, we all bring our strengths. I'm not putting myself down, but it was so humbling and exciting to get to watch these guys go like, what do you want to do? How do you want to do it? Well, like this? Okay. And then it's like this solo. I'm like, how did it just come out of nowhere? Like, where is this? How does that come out of your brain? Like, I wouldn't even know where to begin. It's like any kind of art, right? When you see something that's so far out of your kind of wheelhouse, it's just awesome. And then when it's also a part of something you're doing, it just elevates the entire thing. And what a true pleasure and honor that people are willing to lend their talents in that way.
How did you choose Rihanna's Umbrella out of all? It was the song of the summer. I don't remember which summer.
I think probably 10 years ago, probably when I was also doing Super Fun Night. Honestly, I don't know. It just came to me at one point and I was like, I think that's the one. I think that there's like, if you speed it up and you do it like, not crazy fast, but if you speed it up and you do it like pop punk style, I was like, I think there's something here. And honestly, I played it live when I played that show at the Peppermint Club recently. And like, that was the one where the audience like came to life. Like I was like, no, it was one of those nice moments where I was like, I was right.
Right, you're right.
I knew people would like this. I was right. And yeah, a lot of people after that show were like, that was awesome. And I was like, yeah, I can't wait.
Do you like a lot, like what, do you like any of the other female powerhouses, so to speak?
Of
like a
course.
Madonna, Beyonce, a